Welcome to this short vodcast, shall I say, on just basically lighting. So this little presentation really is going to go through lighting for both internal and external environments. I've made this really for your help in regards to maybe you're learning photography, or you might be doing lectures at school, uni, college, and maybe you just want to know a little bit more about lighting and how you can control those features in order to get a real nice exposure of image. So the importance of lighting. Lighting is the fundamental thing that needs correct to make a visual work. So obviously, to be able to create beautiful pictures, you need to be able to control light in an effective manner to create different temperatures, values of imagery within a photographic or filming scene. It not only affects the perception of the pieces, but can only mean the difference between the image does work or not. So lighting in a photographer's capacity is probably the most important thing that you need to sort of work with as a photographer in order to capture some real nice, interesting moods. Three main types of lighting. There's natural lighting, obviously that's sort of daylight. There's constant artificial, and there's flash, and we'll go through those one at a time. So, natural lighting essentially is what it says on the tin. Natural lighting has, obviously you're using natural lighting, you're using the environment. Advantage: it's free, it's accessible to everyone, it looks natural on camera. Let me give you a scenario. If you're shooting in different environments, if you're shooting in a building, it's got lots of different levels of windows that will create different temperatures, different ambiances for you to capture different tones of images. You really want to use natural lighting to the best capability in terms of your needs. You want to think about the times that you shoot. You might want to think about the days that you shoot, maybe the angles that you shoot in. Maybe certain takes use props to diffuse light to create more interesting looking depths of light from within your photography using natural light. Disadvantages: it's very unpredictable, no control over power, you don't know when it's going to suddenly go cloudy. The weather's obviously predictable depending on where you are. If you live in a nice beautiful part of the world, then you're okay, but if you live in a where it's very cloudy, it might be difficult to get that natural lighting effect. Artificial lighting. Artificial is constant artificial light. It is constant. It is basically a power source that you sort of use. It's cost effective. It's accessible to everyone. Full control of the direct light intensity. So this is something that you might use in a studio environment, for example, where you've got like sort of kind of various studio lights that you might use to control the lighting within an environment. Disadvantage: some lights can get very hot. So if you're working in a studio, you might have 2-3 on. They might be on a trigger, for example. You might have your metering set up, and they can get quite hot if you're using them for long, sustainable periods of time. So, say for example, you're shooting family photographs or wedding, sort of fashion photography. You really want to sort of kind of control those lightings within an environment to be able to capture your images. When you're using artificial light, there are some control features that you need to think about. So say, for example, you are taking pictures in a studio. You will need to probably pair with your aperture shutting at ISO in order to be able to capture images. However, if you're taking pictures in an external environment, there's lots of natural lighting, so you could essentially leave it in auto. Next one I'm talking about is flash, not suitable for filming. Flash is got full control of the direct intensity, so you've got flash on the top of your camera, ability to change output using accessories, modifiers, triggers. The lights are portable. You might have a LED light. These are good for people that do wedding photography, that might do sports photography in low lit environments that just want a little bit extra light. You do definitely need to know a bit about the flashes that you use. To use them skillfully. It can take a lot of time to set up. Not possible to use with filming a video. So, for example, if you're using a flash gun, you can't essentially use that for filming. You might need an LED light for that. Properties of light. Well, there are obviously main categories of light that you need to consider when capturing an image. You think about direction, intensity, and color, and contrast, both hard and soft. And we'll discuss those in detail. So direction, which direction is the light is coming from? Up, down, left, right, center. Most of our natural light obviously is from above. So obviously if you're doing external environments, sunlight, natural lighting, happy days. All the way from below, so you got things like key light, main light giving the subject shape, fill light used to soften dark and shadow areas, rim light, lighting from behind to give a halo effect, and accent light highlights something other than the subject. So these are various directions of light where you can create shape, you can create shadowy areas, you can make a halo effect, and you can create a highlight of the subject. So you might want to look those up: key light, fill light, rim light, and accent light. Properties of light. So 6 properties of lighting. When dealing with direction, there are 6 main properties. So you got things like Rembrandt, you got loop, you got butterfly, you got split, and you got broad. And I'll just go through those one at a time. So the first one I'm going to talk about is Rembrandt, and the Rembrandt lighting essentially comes from the Dutch painter, whereby he was positioning his subjects in a specific way, and what he identified essentially was there was a triangle under one of the eyes dependent on where the light was positioned, as you can see on my screen. This can be done with 2 spotlights, 2 lights positioned at 35 degrees angles to the subject to be able to get that triangular shape within the image. This is good for like things for film posters, maybe action films, to create drama and a dramatic sense of imagery. Next one is a loop lighting. This one is best identified by the looping created under the nose. And again, this setup is you would need to have a fill light, a key light, and a background light. So if you look at this, you've got a hair light. So you've got essentially 3 lights around the subject, 35 degrees, eye level, 1 from above, 1 going in the back, so you get a bit of shadow behind the imagery, and what you get is this looping effect on the nose. The next one is butterfly, and essentially butterfly is you can use a beauty dish, and you position the beauty dish in front of the subject, but you have it coming above, and what you'll get is this butterfly kind of nose effect that you see underneath the nose. Good for like sort of makeup, if you're into makeup or photography, that kind of thing. This lighting will be very, very good for that kind of effect. Next one is split. Essentially, split light is there's a flash going from one side and you get a shadowy effect and a light effect. Good for like so maybe sort of dramatic scenes that you might be capturing and you want to create some tension maybe in the environment. You've got broad and short lighting. This one again is using a light, a diffuser, and what you get is a softer, lesser shadow around the face. And broad essentially is the opposite, where you got more of the subject in focus and a slightly tinted shadow around the face. Properties of light. The intensity of the light source. Can you turn the light up and down? You can have dimmer switches, you can have triggers. Obviously, if you're external, you can't necessarily control the intensity of the light. You've got thinking properties of light, such as color and light temperature. So if you've got a DSLR camera, you can control the temperature via the white balance to get a more balanced view. So if you maybe want to create a cold, maybe you're filming a very dark piece of film and you want a lot of blue tints, then you might want to go through your white balance and create a more bluish looking tint. If you want a warmer effect, maybe it's a romantic genre-based film that you're making or pictures that you take, maybe for wedding photography, you want internal shots, you're using a flash gun and you want the shot to be nice and warm, then you might want to think about changing it to an orange to give it a warm, happy, comfortable environment. You've got other things such as hard contrast, where the light is direct between the image, commonly identified as strong shadows, dramatic, tension, mystery. So you're giving a harsh light and you get a rim light, key light effect around the subject to create a more dramatic look. And you've got something like soft, high contrast, soft light, where the image is more softer. So this probably might be more of an external shot, using natural lighting to capture more of a softer look within your image. Okay, so there's me talking about lighting. Hopefully this has possibly been useful for yourselves. Any questions, please post to the the channel. This is more of a vodcast, shall I say, just going through light and what the properties of light are. Hope to see you for the next video. Please subscribe to the channel as well. Thanks, guys. Thanks for watching.